In this episode of the How to Get on Reality TV podcast, we have another audition story case study that's going to help a lot of people. Welcome to the How to Get on Reality TV podcast with Dan Giesling, where I answer your reality TV casting questions once a week. Hey everyone, what's going on? My name's Dan Giesling. As always, I'm really excited to be back with another episode of the How to Get on Reality TV podcast. After kind of taking a 2-week hiatus, it's not really a 2-week hiatus for you, but we had a special 2-part episode with Johnny Mack, and it looked like a lot of people really enjoyed that. Those 2 episodes, if you haven't seen it, go back and listen to them. They're really good and really go in depth on someone that's been through the whole process recently. But this week we have something a little bit different. We're going back to another case study that was actually came from the other side of the world. So we're really excited to get into that. Before we get into that, I want to remind you guys about the email list. So once a week I send an email on Tuesdays breaking down the podcast one step further. So you'll find one additional tip you won't find in this podcast just by signing up for the email list. It's another way to keep in touch. I never spam you guys, but if you haven't signed up for it yet, it's free. You get one email a week, and there's a lot of value in it. For people that are really, really serious about getting cast on reality TV, it's going to help. So if you go to howtogetonrealitytv.net/list, you can sign up there. If you're driving in the car, maybe you're at the gym, just remember, go to howtogetonrealitytv.net/list, and you can sign up there for free. So as we segue into the question, I want to thank you guys so much for listening, and let's go ahead and jump into this week's pitch from Fen, all the way over in Australia.
Hi Dan, my name is Fen and I'm 21 years old and I come from Sydney, Australia. I'm working on an audition for Australian Survivor and trying to finish it by the end of this week, and at the moment my elevator pitch is that I'm a checkout chick and a musical prodigy. I've studied music since the age of 5, I play 3 instruments, and I'm doing my honours year in composition this year. I also work a ton of hours at my local supermarket, so I'm pretty good with people, as I have to deal with them on a day-to-day basis. I'm 21, I've been in a relationship for 2.5 years, and I consider myself quite an emotional person. For example, I still cry when I rewatch Marley and Me. I also speak fluent French, as I spent a year living in Lyon as part of a university exchange. So at the moment I have all of these disparate elements, and I'm just not 100% sure what I need to focus on, and I would love a couple of pointers. And if you could help me in any way, it would be very much appreciated. Thanks for the podcast, and see you next time.
Fen, all the way in Australia, thank you so much for submitting your question, more so your elevator pitch, through the website. That's awesome. You know, when I picked your question for 2 reasons. One, it's definitely different. So this is something we haven't addressed before, in particular with a new show overseas, Survivor Australia, or the Australia's version of Survivor. And the second thing, and no one's going to be able to copy this after you, but you said, hey, I'm trying to get this done by the end of the week. So you put a little urgency on that. So that's why I picked that one. So Fen, a little heads up to you, a little props to you for figuring out a way to get your question at the top of the barrel, because there are a bunch. But anyways, let's go ahead. And so Fen, you shared your elevator pitch for everyone to listen to. And the reason why you did it is to get help. So I'm going to help you. Okay? Help means it's going to be critical, and this is what you need to hear. Okay, so we're going to start off with the things that need to be improved. The first thing, after hearing your pitch, I listened to a handful of times, it's very stiff. Okay, so there isn't a lot of emotion, there isn't a lot of inflection, there isn't a lot of there's not a whole lot of energy behind how you're pitching your story. So I don't know if you were, reading it like this or whatever you were, but that can't be an indication of what you're going to do moving forward. And that's okay. It's okay, because if you're 21, chances are this is probably the first time you're applying for a show, and that's okay. If you're a first-time person applying, that's how most people are going to sound. So this is really, really important for you to listen and learn from, along with other people listening in on this. If I had to quantify or label your pitch, it sounds like a job interview. You're just like, hey, here's what I know about Fen. You're a clerk at a store. I think you called it a chick. I'm guessing it's some cultural thing, but you work at a grocery store and you're a clerk. This is what you said. I'm a clerk. I'm a musical prodigy. I work a ton. I'm good with people. I'm an emotional person because I cry at a single movie, and I'm fluent in French. Okay, that's kind of how you delivered it. That's how you would, apply to get into a school or apply for a job. And so you have some interesting components there. You just need to figure out how to put them together. So Now that I've given you all the critical or criticism, be like, all right, Dan, when are you going to actually help me? So I just want to bring those points up because that's what you need to focus on moving forward. But here's 3 things you definitely need to do. Number 1, probably the most unique thing about you, 100% off based on what you told me, is that you're a musical prodigy. I actually didn't catch that until the 3rd time I listened to it. I just heard the first 2 times you play a lot of instruments, but no, you're a musical prodigy. Okay, so what is that? What does that mean? How many people out there are you? What does that mean in terms of what you had to sacrifice? Can you just pick up an instrument, and are you like super talented with it with very little work? What is that like? Share what that's like to you and explain it to someone that has no clue what that is, because that's really, really unique. There's not going to be a lot of other musical prodigies that are so young, or maybe not being able to decipher that message in a casting story. So I'd really do that. And this is a time, no pun intended, for you to toot your own horn. Like, say what it is. I don't understand what that is, but it's interesting. So definitely expand on that. And then tell some good things and good and bad stories about that. And that's the overall arching thing you need to do, is tell more stories. But what are some great things about being a prodigy? What are some bad things? Did you go through some tough times? Can you not listen to music the same way as someone else could and enjoy it in the same way? I don't know. You need to explain both the good and bad of being a musical prodigy. The second thing that you mentioned that was kind of interesting but kind of very flat was that you're an emotional individual, and you cry at a specific movie. Okay, I would scrap that example, but share some stories, both bad and good, about how being emotional has helped you and how it has hurt you. And don't just say, yeah, it's helped me get a job, or yeah, it's helped me be a better musical prodigy. Say examples, like, hey, this one time, me and my teacher got into it over, the C sharp or D flat, and I ended up screaming and walking out and threw over a trash can, whatever. It's not going to be that dramatic, but explain how your emotions control what you do, and explain that. The third thing is that you need to develop some character flaws and some good things about you. Right now, all you're doing is just listing bullet points of things that you do or things that you are, but it's not really, none of them are fleshed out, none of them are explained, and none of them have stories attached to them. So Fen, the big thing you have to do, and you guys hear me tell this time and time again, but this is a great example of looking at a first-time pitch, is that the stories are going to make or break you. The flaws you decide to share or not are going to make or break you. And most importantly, those are important to have, but unless you understand how to dynamically present that, and it takes practice, I would start practicing for you. If I were a clerk, I'd start practicing telling stories to people coming through the checkout line. That's a great time to test stories. If people laugh, if people give you a weird look, if you get no reaction, to chuck the story. But you need to practice this. It just doesn't happen. It takes a long time to develop that, but the good thing is you're in a great spot where you can have a lot of practice on a daily basis. So expand on being a musical prodigy, because that's the most unique thing about you. Tell stories about being emotional, and start working on being more dynamic and present and practice in front of a camera. One of the tips I always give people: put the camera on, speak normal, and watch how boring that looks. Speak with 10 times more energy, and then watch it. Looks a little bit better. Speak with 100 times more energy, and then you start to look like you belong on TV, or at least reality TV, more used to. So fine, I hope this helps. As a small thank you, we're going to send you a free digital copy of my story, How a Normal Guy Got Cast on Reality TV. And if you want your question answered on the podcast, or your story broken down on the podcast, just like Fen, you can go to howtogetonrealitytv.net/ask. There's a voicemail app right there. It's really easy. You can even do it all the way from Australia if you choose to do so. So Fen, thank you so much for that question, and I hope it helped. All right, so as we wrap things up in another episode of the How to Get on Reality TV podcast, I just want to remind you guys to sign up for the email list at howtogetonrealitytv.net/list. If you want one additional tip that's going to help Fen go one step further, or you, if you're a first-time person applying for a show and don't know what you're doing, there's going to be a tip that isn't answered on the podcast you can only find in the email list. You can sign up for it by going to howtogetonrealitytv.net/list. So go to the website and just type in /list. Sign up there. It's really easy. It's free. You get one email a week, no spammerino. And I started doing that probably about 20 or so episodes ago, and a lot of people have found a lot of value in it, and it's helped some people. So go to howtogetonrealitytv.net/list, and I will see you guys next week for another question from you guys. Helping you guys get one step further to success in getting on reality TV. I'll see you guys next time. Have a great week, and I'll see you Monday. Later.